latest ITV news in the Tyne Tees region.
With Emily and Helen Ford.
Hello there and good evening. Thanks so much for joining us.
On tonight's programme, political pressure. The mothers of Chloe and Liam, who died in the Manchester Arena bomb, tell the PM not to break his election promise.
A court shown the alleged weapons and racist material recovered from a Northumberland schoolboy accused of plotting a terror attack.
Heritage Railway, how the Leamside line in County Durham took a step closer to coming back into service.
And not a knockout blow. Eddie Howe says Newcastle still have everything to play for, despite Manchester City's late Carabao Cup sucker punch. First tonight, to the parents of South Shields teenagers, Chloe Rutherford and Liam Curry, who were killed in the Manchester Arena terror attack, now urging the Prime Minister to keep an election promise.
In their manifesto, Labour pledged to stop security services like MI5 from exploiting a loophole where they can avoid telling the truth in public inquiries. It's been dubbed the Hillsborough Law.
Chloe and Liam's mothers met Sir Keir Starmer today, as our political correspondent Tom Sheldrick reports.
Chloe and Liam were teenage sweethearts from South Shields who died in the Manchester Arena bombing. Their mums came to Parliament together today to urge the Prime Minister to end state cover-ups. That's after the public inquiry into the terror attack found that MI5 didn't provide an accurate picture of the intelligence they held on the suicide bomber.
We feel it's really important that everyone is held to account, MI5, MI6 and JCHQ included, not as a corporate body but as individuals. What they did to us in Manchester was unforgivable, and it shouldn't be allowed to happen again. And our government should not be giving them free passage to do that.
If you tell the truth, then what you can do with that is implement change and fix things if there's need to be fixed. And that can go a long way to preventing these kind of attacks and atrocities and disasters.
They joined campaigners who lost loved ones in the Hillsborough football stadium disaster, who also fear that the intelligence agencies will be exempt from a new law forcing public officials to tell the truth. It was raised at Prime Minister's questions earlier.
Will the Prime Minister deliver justice for those families and confirm that this government will bring forward an amendment that will make robust the duties and responsibilities of Canada for all parts of the state, including individuals in the security services, so we can finally say never again?
I would like to acknowledge, Mr. Speaker, I think some of the families are in the gallery with us here today, and I will be meeting them later on this afternoon. I've always been clear the duty of candour applies to the intelligence services. I made a commitment we wouldn't water down the bill, and the amendments we put forward strengthen it. It is right that there are essential safeguards in place to protect national security, and we've got that balance right.
But after the meeting, Chloe and Liam's mums told us they strongly disagreed with him.
Disappointed, annoyed, infuriated.
It was it just wasn't, it isn't what they want, it isn't what we want to take forward, so we're just hopeful that he's going to go away and really readdress it and come up with the goods, really. Yeah. But it's not what was agreed. No.
Why not?
Basically, it's given MI5 continues to have carte blanche. They can do what they want, say what they want, and hide behind corporate witnesses, and that's not how it should be.
They hope the Prime Minister will now reflect and change his approach with victims like Chloe and Liam in mind.
And Tom joins us with more. And Tom, from what we saw in your piece there, Chloe and Liam's mothers are both very unhappy then.
Yes, Helen, that much was clear. The so-called Hillsborough Law was due to face its remaining stages in Parliament today. The government pushed it back because of concerns about it being watered down to allow them to have meetings like this and to put forward some changes. As we saw, though, the campaigners are not happy with the bill as it currently stands. We haven't heard from the government side since the meeting this afternoon, but they have repeatedly stressed that they would never put national security at risk. Chloe and Liam's mums also told me that they tried to appeal to the Prime Minister on a really personal level as a father, but were frustrated at his stance. They are now calling on MPs to speak out to ensure the security services are fully accountable when the bill now comes back before Parliament next Monday.
Tom at Westminster, thank you. A court has heard how a teenager accused of plotting terror attacks on synagogues looked shocked and helpless as he was arrested at his home, still wearing his school uniform.
The boy, who's from Northumberland and can't be named due to his age, denies the allegations. He's on trial at Leeds Crown Court, from where we can join our correspondent Greg Steele for more on this. Greg.
Well, Amy, day 2 of this trial and a jury hearing this morning from a counter-terrorism police officer who explained how just after 7 o'clock in the morning last February, when the teenager was arrested, he put his head in his hands and bent over and shook his head. He also explained that out of caution, they drafted in a bomb disposal team along with various other experts to make sure the area and the property was completely safe before they did any further investigatory work. Now, a considerable amount of time was also spent in court this morning by the prosecution outlining a number of items that were seized from the property, many of them from the teenager's bedroom. Photographs of those items were shown to the jury. A number of those photographs have been released to the public, and we can show those to you now. They include a replica Nazi cap, air rifles, a crossbow, nails wrapped in tape, utility jackets, a utility vest, combat jackets I should say, knives, switches and also batteries joined together with wire attached. A number of posters were also seized from the bedroom, one in German and another one which bared the words "learn, train, fight."
And Greg, the jury also heard entries from a journal seized from the bedroom.
Yes, that's right. This was a handwritten journal. I'll read to you a number of extracts that were relayed to the jury. In one of them was written the words, "I hate my school. I want to do horrible things to people in my school." It added, "Some of them should be shot." And another extract, again related to the jury, said, "I'm going to try and kill as many people as I can." This all forming parts of the prosecution evidence in this case. But the day actually started with a brief statement from the defence counsel, Frida Hussein KC. And she told the jury that a critical issue in this case would be what the genuine intentions of this teenager were, and that her client, the defendant, denied ever actually intending to carry out any terrorist acts. In fact, he denies all the charges against him, and the hearing here at Leeds Crown Courts continues.
Greg in Leeds for us this evening. Thank you. Next tonight, to what's been described as a transformative transport project for the north of England.
Yes, as part of a £45 billion government investment, work will take place to explore reopening the Leamside line in County Durham, while York will benefit from line upgrades.
But those elsewhere in the region could be left feeling a little left out in the cold, as Johnny Blair reports.
Two railways side by side. On the left, the East Coast Main Line, open for business. On the right, the Leamside line, closed for 35 years. It's 21 miles of track bed and often track between Gateshead and Ferry Hill in County Durham. Plans are already underway to return it in full. Exploratory work boosted by government cash today.
We've agreed with the Mayor of the North East about the importance of this line to link into the East Coast Main Line south of Durham and Darlington, to look at how we can improve capacity and connectivity there. And so it's a piece of work that we will be getting underway.
A new railway line in County Durham, not only does that connect people in villages and towns that have just been disconnected from the railway for so long with places that they need to get to, but it also creates new jobs, new homes. This is transformational for a generation.
Its peak was in the 1950s, a heyday campaigners are hopeful will return.
I'm very optimistic. I think as a group, you've got to be optimistic. We've recently seen the reopening of the Northumberland line and the success that has brought, and the new opportunities that it's given people. And we really do feel that the Leamside line could do the same.
Today's cash relates to the south part of the route. 5 miles of the northern section is already earmarked for use under plans to extend the Tyne Metro to Washington. The £350,000 towards this project is just part of a wider government announcement today aimed at improving rail connections across the north of England, but with places like the northwest and West Yorkshire getting most of the headlines and investment, has the northeast been left standing at the platform. These passengers in Newcastle had hoped for more.
I've been expecting so little for so long.
All the investment in the north seems to be around Manchester and the Leeds and stuff like that.
They should get that together and put some doing here.
We aren't thought about as much as other parts of the nation, but it's nothing new.
York Station will be improved, as will its line to and from Leeds, with Leamside moving a step closer to perhaps a return to former glory.
And Johnny is alongside the Leamside line in Washington for us now. And Johnny, that is exactly the sort of place that will benefit from this investment.
That's right, Helen. Welcome, in fact, to Station Road in Washington, site, perhaps not surprisingly, of the old station. Now, this area is actually earmarked to get 2 new stations as part of the wider plans, although it's not exactly known exactly where those stations will be. Now, there's no denying that in some quarters, the news of this investment has been criticised because it hasn't stretched across the northeast, but certainly that seems to have been overridden in a lot of areas by the excitement at just what the Leamside line investment could bring. It's been welcomed by the North East Mayor, welcomed by MPs, welcomed by the North East Chamber of Commerce, and what government backing could bring. The big question, of course, is when does it all get going? The government wants the projects it's investing in to be really up and running by the early 2030s. The officials here in the North East, though, they say they want things up and going as soon as possible.
Johnny, thank you for the update.
You're watching ITV News Tyne Tea. Still to come on tonight's programme. Only half time. Eddie Howe says his side will still have everything to play for at the Etihad next month.
And on song, the Teesside pupils preparing for a musical experience of a lifetime.
And we're ending Wednesday on a wet and windy note, but what does the rest of the week have in store? I will tell you in just a bit.
And the ITV Evening News continues after us at 6:30 tonight with Lucrezia.
Coming up on the ITV Evening News, the Home Secretary says she has no confidence in the Chief Constable of West Midlands Police after he admitted his force used AI to dig up erroneous evidence to justify banning Israeli football fans last year. A new rail line planned that will change train journeys in the north of England for the better. Sound familiar? We'll have the details and ask if this time will it happen. And better late than never, Lioness Millie Wright finally picks up her OBE. Join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Powering local sport in the community, Octopus Energy sponsors ITV Regional Sports Report.
Well, let's turn our attention to football now. Eddie Howe insists it's not over till it's over, but Newcastle United do have the proverbial mountain to climb in the Carabao Cup semi-final, Simon.
Yeah, and this is the Mount Everest of Cup semi-final mountains, but you never know. The Magpies lost the game and they lost home advantage last night. Manchester City won the first leg 2-0 at St James's Park. The second leg is at the Etihad next month, and Newcastle United have never won a game at that stadium. You know the old two-legged semi-final cliche. It's only half-time, and that's something for Newcastle United to cling on to. But if it is only half-time, this was a bruising first half.
We're still alive, we're still in there fighting. It is very difficult to turn it round, but it's still possible, and football can conjure up some magical moments. Last year we were on the other side of the scoreline. We went to Arsenal, won 2-0, and that game we felt was still very much alive. It was all about the next goal in the tie, really, and I think that's going to be the case in this one. If we can get the next goal, we're still very much in it.
As the man says, they now face the reverse Arsenal challenge. Last year, Newcastle won the first leg away from home. This year, they lost the first leg at home. But could it have turned out differently for the Magpies? Yes, it could. Johan Wisser's early chance could have sent this tie in an entirely different direction, but he missed. Wisser's second-half header could have changed things, but City goalkeeper James Trafford, a transfer target for Newcastle last summer, made an astonishing save and then got lucky when Bruno hit the post seconds later. Then it started to get away from Newcastle. City's new signing, Antoine Semenyo, opened the scoring. He scored again shortly after, except he didn't. It took VAR 5.5 minutes to rule this one out for offside.
After review, Manchester City, number 9, is in an offside position.
The stadium was lifted, and if Sandro Tonali had scored moments later, then who knows where the Magpies might have ended up. But he missed. And City, who were very good at times, found a crucial second stoppage time, scored by Ryan Cherky. A devastating blow for those in black and white. Is there a chance?
Oh, I hope so. I like to think so, but I feel a bit deflated after that.
We had more chances this evening, we just couldn't put them away, which is unfortunate. But there's no reason why we can't come back.
Everything is possible. It can still happen. But it is difficult to come over 2-0.
It is probably our biggest challenge. Our biggest test of everything, really, in our belief levels, our ability to score goals and defend. We're going to have to defend well in that game, otherwise we've got no chance.
I mean, I just hope so. I mean, it might be a different thing, but as long as we haven't got tired legs or anything.
I think the belief, by the time the game comes around, has to be there. And what better place to do it? You know, we haven't got a good record there. I haven't got a good record there. But those records have to be broken, so I think that's the mindset.
The holders' grip on the trophy has been severely loosened. Newcastle have to go and win by at least 2 goals at a stadium where they've never ever won against Pep Guardiola's serial winners. But even though the semi-final glass is half empty, remember, it's only half-time.
Yeah, that second leg is in Manchester. It's on Wednesday, the 4th of February. Simon, we heard the fans there saying, anything is possible, but is it actually possible that Newcastle could turn this around?
Right, I want to say yes, and I'm going to try to say yes, but we've got to acknowledge a few things. History and geography are against Newcastle because they've never won at Manchester City's Etihad Stadium. Football logic is against them because they're playing Manchester City, who are very good and have got a 2-0 lead. But Newcastle United are the cup holders. They're very proud of that. If Eddie Howe's Newcastle United go and give their greatest ever performance, they might just be able to pull off something extraordinary. In that case, I would give them maybe a 5 to 10% chance of getting through this tie. But if I'm saying 5 to 10% chance, I guess I'm saying there's a chance.
I guess you are. We'll let you get away with that.
Now, across Manchester, Manchester United's new boss has been talking about his time as Middlesbrough boss. Michael Carrick has been named interim head coach at Old Trafford. He's a former Wallsend Boys Club player and a former Manchester United player. He was Borough boss for 2.5 years until he was sacked last summer. He took Middlesbrough to the playoffs once and missed the playoffs twice.
I learned an awful lot. I think you obviously make mistakes. You have and you know my strengths and things that I've looked back and I think I could have done a little bit better with certain things, and that's life and that's part of learning and becoming better all the time. I do feel I've learned an awful lot, and thanks to Middlesbrough for allowing me to do that when I went there and had some really good times there. So now I feel I'm in a strong place.
Away from football, the Newcastle Red Bulls might be struggling this season, but watch out for them to hit the ground running in Rugby Union's Premiership next season. They continued their impressive and expensive recruitment programme with 2 more signings today, including Rafi Quirk. The 24-year-old England scrum half will join Newcastle from Sale Sharks on a 2-year deal this summer.
Changing pace, imagine following in the footsteps of pop icons and performing in the country's biggest arenas, or before you've reached secondary school. For the past 30 years, children in our region have been given the chance to perform in the Young Voices Choir.
Yeah, it began in 1996 as a way to improve music education in schools, and it's led to sell-out concerts and memories to last a lifetime. And now this year's cohort are polishing their vocal cords as they prepare to sing in front of thousands. Helen Ludlow reports.
They've got the voices, and they've certainly got the power. And they've got the confidence to get on stage in front of thousands of people. These school children in Middlesbrough are rehearsing for the concert of a lifetime. They'll be singing at the Utilita Arena in Sheffield later this month.
I enjoy being in the choir because people encourage me to sing in front of larger audiences.
It's really exciting because it actually boosted my confidence over the years. I'm looking forward to it really much, but even though I'm really excited, I'm also really nervous.
Children absolutely love it. It's a great day, and it's something you can't create in our school because you're singing with 5,000 children, which is just absolutely fantastic, and it's huge.
It's been 30 years since the charity Young Voices held its first concerts. It's been around so long that some of the band and crew were once in the choir themselves. Organisers say its magic is growing year on year.
If you're 10 years old and you get the chance to perform at your local arena, which is usually reserved for pop icons, you're with all your mates, you're singing for a sold-out house, and to the person you love most in the world because your parents are there, and you walk out at the end of the night, you feel 10 foot tall.
These children are getting a taste of what's to come in rehearsals on the stage they'll soon be performing on. Britain's Got Talent star Connie Talbot has been a long-time supporter of Young Voices. She says giving children the opportunity to perform is more important now than ever.
I think it's such an important part of your childhood to, even if you're not into music, to be able to experience it and, pick up an instrument or sing out loud to an audience. I think there should be more access to music for young children. It's really important.
Young Voices is as much about singing as it is about movement, energy, and giving the audiences a show to remember. Soon, these seats will be filled with proud family and friends, excited to watch their children sing their hearts out. Hannah Ludlow, ITV News.
Good luck to everyone
Absolutely.
taking part. Now, Amy, you've just told me something very interesting.
Yeah, I did that exact concert. Probably was about 30 years ago, and I still remember it to this day. My dad came to watch. I'm a terrible singer, but I was drowned out by everybody else. So it was so much fun. Still remember it.
Oh, sounds great. Now, is the weather hitting the right notes? Here's the forecast.
Visibility is clear today, both above and below the water. TUI sponsors ITV Tyne weather.
Hi there, good evening. We end Wednesday on a bit of a wet and windy note. Got a bit of a band of rain, which might turn a bit sleety up on the high ground. That's crossing us over the next few hours, all wrapped around these big area of, multiple lows. That little feature, though, could be a troublemaker for us tomorrow. We'll talk about that in a moment. But as we head to the weekend, generally low pressure, keeping things a bit unsettled and a little bit changeable. Overnight tonight, then we're going to see this band. It's starting to fragment a little bit, but still the possibility of a bit of wet snow or sleet up on the higher ground. Towards the end of the night, a couple of showers left over, and enough in the way of clear spells and clear skies to see potentially 1 or 2 slippery surfaces with lows of about 2 or 3 Celsius. Thursday then, generally a reasonably bright day. Few showers trying to push in, but not very many of them. What you'll start to see is a little bit of cloud pushing up from the south and the east. That is that little low that's heading in our direction. Temperatures tomorrow 6 or 7 Celsius. So as we head through Thursday evening into Friday, this this little feature here might actually come in a little bit further north, and that could give us some rain into parts of the patch, kind of pretty much up to Whitby, possibly a little bit further north. It could be quite heavy before it disappears. Friday itself, though, not looking too bad. Some nice bright weather around, albeit a touch chilly, with highs of around 6 or 7 Celsius. It looks as though Saturday's going to be much the same, generally a dry day. Could pick up a couple of showers later on. And then same again on Sunday, dry start but rain overnight into Monday.
TUI sponsors ITV Tyne Tees weather.
Thank you, James. In just a moment, the national and international news.
And I'll be back with an update for you at 10:30. Hope to see you then. We'll see you again later. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.